Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Kicking Aces here in World of Tanks. And today I am in one of my top most favorite tanks in the game. I do have about 3 of them, and this is definitely one of the 3. It is the Knight. This is a tier 6 British medium tank, and this is the premium version of the Cromwell. It is almost identical to the Tech Tree tier 6 Cromwell tank. It has some very slight differences. It has I think one has slightly better accuracy and the other one has a tiny bit more rate of fire or something like that. Minuscule differences. The big difference, of course, is the cosmetic. This has the Union Jack painted on it, and it acts as a permanent camouflage skin, so you don't have to worry about ever putting camouflage on this tank. And it's great. It's a good tier 6 silver earner, right? It's never going to be as good at earning silver as a tier 8 premium, but it's a good tank down at tier 6. The competition is a little less stiff, so you can kind of have some more, rowdy games in it and get some bigger damage totals or some bigger kill counts because just a little bit lower skill requirement, and you're not going to be matched up against tier 10 tanks like you can in your tier 8. So we're in a standard battle on Malinovka, and I believe I'm top tier in this battle. And I was thinking about going for an aggressive push in the tank, like right up against, across the lake and up against the far side of that little valley there. But we didn't need to because I had a couple of light tanks on my team go out and do some active scouting. So I decided I'll hang back and I'll do a little bit of bush work. And I'm trying to actually have like some double bush action going on here. And it looks like it's working pretty well. We had a bunch of shots that we missed early on a tank that was crossing our field of view, but then we had a second round and we actually were able to put some in and get our first damage of the game stacked up here. And we did that whole thing without getting spotted. And then one thing we do need to be aware of, especially at these lower tiers in tier 6, the light tanks are super aggressive in their scouting. So we had an enemy push all the way up the western flank there, start to encroach on our base, but our allies were able to take him out before he got too far and was able to spot us there because our flank or our rear isn't in the bush. So if he would have popped that ridge, we probably would have been spotted and maybe we would have taken some damage. But thankfully, we don't need to worry about that. So we can continue to stay put and do some of our mid-range sniping here thanks to the scouting support that we're getting from some of the tanks on our team. Now, we have an enemy pop up. This is, the 40 TP. And interestingly, the blind firing here, you can see blind firing, you don't really need to do blind because of the way the damage pops up right now. We don't get the ribbons anymore, but you know when you do damage to something because you get a damage indicator popping up on your screen. So if the tank disappears and you're firing and you keep getting the damage pop up, keep firing. I've destroyed a tank with like 4 extra shots from that because they didn't move and I kept firing and I kept getting the damage indicator. So a little bit of a different twist than the PC version of the game, and you can use it to good effect as we did there. I think we got just 1 extra shot. So we retreated, we did get spotted. There were some tanks pushing up again on the western flank and they got us spotted, but we still haven't taken any damage. We're still in good shape. We're still able to fire through these bushes at the enemies across the lake and not get spotted. And I love this position. This scouting area or sniping area has so many lanes of fire. You can shoot at things going up the hill. You can shoot at things poking around the ridge of the lake. You can shoot at the light tanks if they're kind of YOLOing across the open field. And you can also defend your base from some aggressive pushes up the western flank. So it's a great spot. The bushes provide some protection. I really, really enjoy it. So here we have an M4A02 or something like that. It was a Sherman and he was straight on, and the upper plate of that thing can be a little bit difficult for the Knight to penetrate. So I think I bounced 1 or 2 shots and then switched over to premium ammo to put those last couple of shots in and secure some damage. The Knight, again, for shooting at tier 6 tanks, the ammo is pretty good and you're mobile enough that you can usually get around enemies to get their weak side. But sometimes at long range, the strong armor is facing you, you're going to have to just switch out and go for that premium ammo if you want to continue to do damage. So here again is another push up the western flank, and I think there's 2 tanks here now. It's at least 1 medium, and here we go. And boy, this is a theme for this game. How many of these shots where I am leading the target, I am zoomed in, I pull the trigger, and boy, it looks like it's got a hit, and I miss. I had a couple of them in that first, I think, 3 shots of the game. Tank just driving right across my reticle, had the aim going, and just missed and missed and missed. So we're up to like 5 or 6 shots where I really thought the shot was going to go in and we missed. So keep that in mind when we see our damage total at the end of the match here. So we were able to take out the first medium tank. The second one, unfortunately, or we did some damage to that first medium tank. Unfortunately, as the second one popped out, he pulled back and we just skimmed off the front plate and you saw the shot ricochet. But no worries, no problem. We still are able to take out, boom, 1, 2, quick succession, back-to-back sequential shots, and secure 2 more kills in the game. And now the damage, or the kill count, we've got 7 tanks left, the enemy has 5. I feel like we're in good shape. So I start in advance and very quickly stop it because we have an open shot at a target. That's a 3rd kill within the span of, 30 seconds there. So that's a really nice stretch of gameplay in terms of securing kills on the enemy team. So the idea here, I'm thinking, let me advance all the way across the lake. Let me get up against this ridge and start to do some scouting if there's any that are up in the back. But before we do, I find an AT2 on the enemy team and I couldn't help myself. The Knight is so good at these one-on-one engagements, especially against slow tanks that don't have a turret. You can just charge them and kind of do a hero run, start to circle them, really punish them. And the AT2 does have some strong armor, so I switched to premium ammo. Unfortunately, I take some hits from an enemy tank who was back there covering the AT2's advance, and my allies did a bunch of support, which was great, but it cost me a whole bunch of damage. I really could have farmed up that AT2. Unfortunately, we only get a couple of shots in, and we lose about half of our hit points. So not a very successful run. I probably should have stayed patient, waited, and sniped, but the AT2 gets eliminated. Then we have a KV-1S, and I pop up, put a shot into him, and I pulled back, and I saw him shoot, and I made a mistake. I continued to pull back for another second there, I think. I could have popped right back up after he shot. My reload is going to beat his, and I could have secured that kill. Instead, we were a little cautious. We'd just taken some hits, so I was playing, super cautious and wasn't able to get back up the hill in time, but our team secured the kill, no problem. However, while I was messing around with that, and after the KV-1S went down, I started to advance up the hill and took 2 more shots from the last enemy that was kind of down in that corner again. I think the same one that damaged me when I was attacking the AT2. Thankfully, I was able to get back into cover, and my allies were able to take out that enemy tank. So now it's 6-1. I know I am having a good game right now. Like, I'm feeling it. I know my kill count is high. I know I've got a good XP game going here. So I'm on the cusp. I'm hoping for an ace tanker. So I really want to get this last guy. I want to get the kill. I want to get as much damage as I can, but I don't want to be reckless. I could be a one-shot for this tank, depending on its gun. I think it's a French heavy tank. I'm not too familiar with it, but my allies are closing in. I decide I'm going to go for it and just see what happens. Thankfully, he's pointing the other way with his gun, and then he turned his tank turret to the inside of the rock. If he had turned, so the rock was here and he was here, and he turned his turret this way, if he had turned it to the outside, I wouldn't have been able to come around him, but because he turned inside, I was able to go all the way around his tank nice and slow, beating his turret traverse, putting in a number of shots, farming up almost the entirety of that heavy tank's damage, and securing the kill. And there we go. We see what a game that was, a blitz in the tier 6 British medium tank, the Knight. We secured 7 kills and 2,339 damage. And just think about how many of those shots that I missed. At least 4 that had a good chance of going in. Maybe 5, maybe 6. So that could have been a 3,000 damage game in a tier 6 tank. That's pretty ridiculous. But even with missing those shots, we will take a wonderful result like this. MVP on the team, 7 kills, 2,339 damage, 1,572 XP. So all that's left to do is see what that translates to in terms of awards for the game. And so in the post-battle results, we can see that we got 20,000 silver for our non-premium account at the moment. It would have been 48,000, almost 50,000 if we were running a premium. And that does seem a little bit low for a tier 6 tank. I would think that good of a game, we would be pushing 40,000 without the premium account. But I did fire a number of premium rounds at the front of the, I think the Sherman variant, at the AT2. There might have been 1 or 2 more at the end when I knew I was having a really good game and I didn't want to bounce anything at the end. I forget if I used them on that heavy French tank at the end of the game. So we did use a little bit of premium sprinkled in there. So 20,000 damage, or 20,000 credits for a tier 6 premium. Hey, we will certainly take it. 5,188 total vehicle XP. That's with some bonuses and some extras built in. Of course, that's not base. And then we had, as we can see, 7 kills, best in game, 2,339 damage. And we did almost 500 in assistance. I think that was mostly spotting damage. I'm not sure if I got any tracking hits in that game. And then we also had 2 detections, 2 tanks that we spotted as well. So a little bit of everything, which is what the Knight is really, really good at. It is a total jack of all trades. It has a good gun. It can dish out damage. It can scout. It's mobile. It can get back. The only thing it's really lacking is armor. And you can get some troll bounces in this thing every once in a while. You have those like nice flat side plates. So if you approach a tank on a little bit of an angle and they hit that side as you're approaching, you can get some ricochets too. Not common, but it certainly can happen. So for the medal count, we can see it is an impressive array of results here. We get the Devastator for 7 kills, 1 more than the Top Gun. So of course we get the Top Gun as well. This is my highest kill count since my return to the game after that long 5-year hiatus. So really thrilled to secure a Devastator medal, and what better tank to do it in than the Knight. And of course, a couple of the common ones. We get the Bruiser, we get the Fire for Effect, First Class Mastery Badge. Once again, I'm just like a little bit heartbroken. We do also get the High Caliber. I'm a little bit heartbroken by that First Class Mastery Badge. Such a good game, so much damage, 7 kills. You're thinking, oh my God, what do I have to do to get an ace tanker in this thing? Again, lots of the tanks we're shooting at are tier 6. We were top tier, so some were going to be tier 5, tier 4. But it wasn't like we were just stealing kills, right? These weren't all one-shot kills on enemy tanks. I mean, we did a good amount of damage to a number of those tanks. So I feel like, again, thinking about those 2, 3, 4 missed shots where we were really aimed in, I thought we were going to hit the target and we missed. How many of those would have had to hit to make this an ace tanker? I'm betting not many. I'm betting we were just 1 or 2 off from securing an ace in this tank. I do have an ace in this tank from back in the day, but it would have been nice to get one from playing, after my return here. So once again, we can see 1,572 damage. The stats here really good, and this was just a fun game in the Knight. And again, I was able to adapt the approach that I took to this game based on the first 20 seconds of gameplay. I was thinking, all right, I'm top tier, I'm going to push, I'm going to get aggressive, I'm going to get all the way out, extend some vision, and really start to harass the enemy on that ridge line. But I had light tanks and mediums go and do the scouting for me, so I was quickly able to change my game plan, drop into a support second line shooter, shooting at the things that they were lighting up, and racking up some early damage, some early kills. And then after the time was right, after the scales had tipped just a little bit, making that advance, securing that string of kills, running in on the AT2, which again, I think I messed up a little bit. I could have done that much better. Maybe had a little patience, but definitely some better ways to have approached that. And then a couple more cleanups at the end of the game. So that is the Knight. And again, if you don't have the Knight, go for the Cromwell, because the Tech Tree tank is almost as good, if not better than the Knight. So that is going to wrap up this one. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.